It's an honor for me to start this conference today as someone who started really early and was between the pioneers. It's a big pleasure. I don't know what I can do better from now on. Today I will be presenting you what I've seen, what I witnessed, because I started working in 2011 so early when actually I still remember with discussion how we should call the thing. Should we call it natural hydrogen or native hydrogen? And finally we stick with natural. And I did a postdoc in the French Institute of Petroleum New Energies, and then just after I realized the huge potential that natural hydrogen represents, and founded my precedent company, which resulted in first exploratory drilling for hydrogen in the United States. You may have seen this picture, of course. Next year I published a comprehensive review, which happens to be the most cited publication, Natural Hydrogen Today, and then I presented also on a TEDx talk on this topic. And last year I made an executive transition. I co-founded HiReveal, so I'll be presenting you in a minute what we've done so far. We've been very busy. Before, let me show you some information what happened during the past years. So the graph on the left shows you the number of new scientific publications per year. And you see how fast it started to grow. It's actually becoming very difficult to follow. There are so many scientific publications. We will need to start specializing in specific fields of natural or stimulated hydrogen. And the graph on the right shows you the number of companies exploring for hydrogen. And you see the number is continuously growing, and we're definitely in the beginning of something big. But what I wanted you to share that this graph, this is new, and this is basically the previous one, but sorted by category of companies. And you see, of course, the startups, they outnumber the exploration efforts in this field. Followed by oil and gas companies, mostly national companies and small to medium scale. International big companies are investing in research, but still following for a credible business case to make a big step. What happened recently, look on the right-hand side on the blue lines, showing the mining industry is getting interested. And this is something new and something which may change in the entire field. This is the main message of my today's presentation, that mining companies becoming more and more active because they have huge energy needs. Their main consumption is energy, and they have a very good knowledge of their geology, and they can use any, even small discovery, which will be considered in oil and gas world insignificant. They can still use it and valorize it. And in HiReveal, we did a preliminary market research. We contacted metal mining companies, and to our surprise, we discovered that half of them are already either exploring for hydrogen or considering doing that. So approximately 1/4 are already exploring, and 1/4 are considering starting that soon. So I believe that, and you can look at the right-hand side, in 2025, the number of mining companies exploring for hydrogen outnumbered the number of oil and gas companies. And I think the initial adoption of this new resource may actually pass by mining companies and not by oil and gas like we expected initially. This is basically the same map. I will go rapidly. That's what Isabel presented with a little more details. And this is starts in 2011 when Hydromine Mali started testing their well, and I coincidentally started my postdoc at the same time. And I was very happy to be working with first pioneers, Eric Deville, Alain Prinzhofer, Valérie Beaumont, and also with scientists from Russia, from whom I learned a lot, Vladimir Larin, Nikolai Larin. And next year we went to United States, made measurements in Carolina Bays, proved that these are diffusive seepages of hydrogen. And of course, 2018, the well in Nebraska has been spud. And then we see the progressive increase in countries. Of course, Australia joined the race in 2021, allowing to get permits, and other countries started to become more and more active. But what happened a lot is actually past 2 years. Look how colored became the map. And actually this year is a particular year for natural hydrogen because on this map, the bright orange are places where there are drillings has been done or are ongoing right now. China recently announced that they are doing drilling for hydrogen. And of course, there is a drilling in France starting right now, and Canada announced just a few days ago, and we'll have the presentation, right? And also, there was a drilling done in Colombia. So actually today, this year is breakthrough year for natural hydrogen because we have drillings in each part of the world. And more countries are joining, allowing adding hydrogen into the mining code, allowing to take permits. For example, India and Ukraine and Poland and Philippines, we've seen a recent announcement, and we will have much more, of course, to follow. This is the very same map, but represented in form of the camembert, because we're in France, of course, and showing the number of companies by part of the world. And we see that North America is leading by number of companies, recently outnumbered Australia, which was leading previous years, but Australia is very active, and Europe is in the first three. Of course, South America and Africa have a very significant geologic potential for hydrogen, and I'm sure they will catch up in the next years. Couple of trends what happened in 2025. So there are some negative, there are positive things. From less important or less happy for us is that green hydrogen projects started to see divestment, and it dragged somehow the interest to geologic hydrogen as well. And at least 5 startups, they're either sold or exited. And investors are becoming more picky, more educated about the topic, and they're having more preference for projects with more IP, more technology component. I will talk on that in a minute. What's good that around 10 companies announced the drillings for next year. So we will see the results. Everyone is waiting in this room, of course, for a big announcement that potentially may happen even next year. And of course, we've seen a significant increase in interest for stimulated hydrogen thanks to activity of Doug Weeks, between others present today. So what we will see in 2026? I think that we will see consolidation of efforts to decrease the exploration risks. So companies will start to collaborate more and will be joining forces. The companies will be expanding to new geologies. For example, Bennett Iron formations attracted more interest recently. The more countries will join, of course, I mentioned a few of them, and we will potentially have more announcement today from what I heard. And the mining companies will be more and more active, and we'll see what will happen. But also it brings me to the second half of my presentation, where I wanted to talk about what I've been doing recently. And that, in my opinion, the technology will play a much more important role in natural hydrogen exploration, because we've seen wells drilled, but there were no big announcement, no commercial success so far, and we understood that actually the system is much more complex and requires more deliberate approach for it. And this was one of the driving force for me to co-found HiReveal together with Jonathan Allar, and we were able to raise funding and assemble a really good team, which has experiences in both engineering, geoscience, and startups, and we're also supported by all of these respected organizations on the left and collaborating with all of these organizations on the right. I will not be citing for the sake of time. What we're doing, we are developing an integrated solution which is composed of software and hardware, which with the overall goal to guide explorationists on each step of the exploratory process and to propose some solutions. Each solutions can be used separately, but also they work perfectly in synergy together. So iOrigin is the hydrogen basin modeling software. I will talk in a bit. We're developing also a surface detector, which we will be presenting probably next stage, not next year. And we've developed also an HBox. I will tell you in a second what it's doing. So the iOrigin is this software, if you're familiar what is basin modeling software, we developed it specifically for hydrogen and all associated gases. So it covers all of the major mechanisms for generating hydrogen. It's agnostic about mechanism. As soon as it does exist in nature, it's covered. So of course, it includes water-rock reactions, but also radiolysis, but also decomposition of organic matter, and also the basal or mantle flux, which you can input. And then it migrates. It's in multi-phase and multi-compound, and you can see what happens with all of your compounds. And here's the one-off example. I will not be spoiling more because today at 4:30 there will be a full presentation done by Jonathan. Please come because this is a really unique and state-of-the-art piece of engineering we've developed, and we're very proud of it. You will be amazed, I guarantee you, because we have not only hydrogen generation, not only migration accumulation, but also consumption and correction for microbial components up to the level 0. So we can connect your measurements you are doing in the field with what's on the ground. We also developed the HBox, which is very simple and robust hydrogen mud logging device. In our past experience, we realized that it is not easy to log hydrogen because you need to use bulky mass spectrometers, which have issues. They have long cycle time, they have sensitivity issues, or you need to use gas chromatographs, which are measuring fine, but then you need to bring extra pure gases on your drilling site, and you need a specialized person who will handle that. So we said, okay, we need to change that. We want to democratize measurement, make it available for everyone. And we've developed a HBox, which is robust, simple. We call it push-button device. You push a button, and then you connect it to your gas line. You have your hydrogen measurements, which are transmitted to your telemetry programs, and also all the data is backed up. So in case of any transmission issues, you can always recover it. And it has a good accuracy. So yeah, if you're interested, please come to see our team. There are almost all of the Harry Wheels team is here today, so come to talk to us. So, which brings me to conclusions that wells were drilled, but not yet commercial success announcements. So, what we discovered in developing iOrigin software, that's actually some of the concentrations announced could be a background level, which is just hydrogen present there, continuously forming by radiolysis or migrating from depths. But it doesn't mean you have accumulation. And to discover accumulation, this is what really counts. And to discover it, you need to do studies. You cannot just take a license and go and drill. It doesn't work like that. We tried, it didn't work, so now we need to do more deliberate approach. And this is actually favored by investors. We've seen this year a big announcement of big money put in the projects. Snowfox, Mantle to cite just a couple of them. And of course, I repeat it myself, but this is the main message. Mining companies becoming more active, and which brings me to the last slide of my presentation, which I'm a vice chair of the Gordon Research Conference. For those who don't know, Gordon Research is one of the most prestigious scientific conferences, which will be next year in June in Maine of the USA. So please, take a photo of this slide. You have 2 QR codes. You have one QR code to register. You have one QR code to support financially the event, to have your logo, and to be able actually to have a specific possibility to come and to talk to people there. And the fact that Gordon conferences got interested in the topic shows how mature it became and how good it progresses. I see my timer stopped, so I don't know if I'm out of time or not. But in any case, thank you for your attention.